Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here, and today I'm going to do, I guess, what you would call like a mini review stroke kind of newbie tips for New World that I've been playing for a fair bit. This is the closed beta, which I think is going on until the 8th of August. Then everything's going to be wiped, and I guess I'm assuming they're going to get ready for like the release on August the 31st. New MMO by Amazon Studios. It's called Amazon Studios. I think it's kind of like a studio that was owned by Amazon. I'm not sure if they would class themselves as absolute Amazon employees, but there you go. That's, and it's a new MMORPG, and I've been playing it for quite a long time. During the closed beta, I also played the preview event last year, and I just thought, as I said, I would give you some newbie tips and just give you some thoughts on the game so far. These are going to be newbie tips, so if you don't look at this expecting to learn something new, if you already played the game, probably because you're probably not going to. But the first tip, depending on what sort of player you are, is to turn off all the bloody chat feeds. So hit escape, go chat, click on this, just mute them all. This is my own personal tip, depending on how you want to play. A lot of the stuff that gets put in here, it depends what server you're on as well, but you get quite a lot of rubbish in here. The only one I kind of have on is my faction one, to find out what the faction are doing, and direct messaging. If you like a load of spammy text on the left hand side of your screen, by all means put it on. But maybe the help one if you're a new player, or if you're looking for a particular help with a particular quest, that can be useful. But other than that, I normally turn them off. So I'm going to mix up the first part of the video with thoughts about the leveling process in a game, and also some leveling tips. So I've just logged in. This is how I'm going to start my day, and this is how I start my day when I play the game generally. I'm outside the town hall, so we're going to run up to the town project board. I think these things are generally populated by the company or the faction that owns the town. And I think they put these up to upgrade parts of the town, essentially. So, upgrade stone cutting table tier 4. This one's already been complete, by the looks of it. So I'm assuming, I'm assuming the bar at the end means it's been done. So I don't know if that. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure if it needs a faction member or faction leader to click something to complete this. But this is kind of how it generally works. So this board is very important for leveling, I've found, because you get some quests on here that if you play the game, run about and do some gathering and skinning and stuff like that, and a bit of mining and a bit of lumberjacking, you can generally come back to this board and fill in some quests to just for some quick XP, and this is where you get the most XP as well. I've found. So this one here. Energizing travel rations, 2,500 XP. That's a lot. Like I'm only level 23, but at my level, that's a lot. 2,600 XP. Metalworkers needed. 90 ingots. I can probably complete that one in a sec. 30 timber. You can get that chopping a couple of trees. 1,000 XP. These are the ones that I would look for. Ignore the unless you really want to do them, ignore the explore ones. Things like, if you find it's very easy to get 90 ingots for 2,600 XP, hunt 5 alligators, half the experience, and you've got to actually look around for alligators. If you know where lynxes are, it might be worth doing that one if you can run straight there. That's not bad XP stuff. But the ones that I normally look for are the needed ones, and one of the good ones are when you get supplies for like armour and weaponry. It asks you to make a consignment of armour or weaponry. It's just normally iron armour, which I think you can actually do on level 1 of armour making, so it's not too much of a problem. But these are really good. So I'll just show you how these work. I'll pick this one, metalworkers needed, and we will go and we should. I don't think I can complete it straight away. No, so we'll go and complete that one. Normally I would pick a load and then go out, but I'll do this one just to show you. We're going to head to the forge. yeah, so there are things to look out for. So whenever you're running around, mine iron, kill animals and get their skins. Um, Farm hemp to get fibres. They're important, and I'll show you. So let's go here. I've already got 28 ingots, so we need some more. So iron ingots, we can make 115. What do we need for the quest? 28. So I need 62. And when you find an iron vein and you mine it, you get loads of ore from it. You'll eventually kind of work out where the best places are to go for iron ore, but just look out for it whenever you're out. So we need 62. I'm going to make it exactly. Oh, I got 2 bonus. Excellent. Right, so I haven't actually do anything there to get that experience. Now you might say, well, you had to go out and mine iron and stuff, but I just do that when I'm out, just exploring the world, doing the normal quests. So a lot of the stuff that you require for these town hall quests can just be quite easily gathered at a low level. It's really not difficult. So I turn that in and got a bunch of XP. These will every 30 minutes. These refresh. Sometimes you get a new one immediately, but that's not too much of a problem. Breakfast rations I'm not sure about. What else did we have? 30 timber. I'm sure I've got 20 feathers as well. I can complete that one straight away because I've got feathers in my storage. Energising travel rations I'm not sure about. 300 green wood. I think I can probably complete that straight away. Yeah, so I've kind of almost gained a level. I think if I just do this, just do this one here, then we will gain a level. Let's go and find the woodworking bench, which I think is over the wood shop, which I think is over there again. You wouldn't do it like this. Like running backwards and forwards is not the most efficient way of doing it, but I'm just showing you how it works. So the board is very good for leveling. I would probably say for most efficient leveling, it's crucial to kind of work this stuff in. So I need. Hopefully, I've got the. Hopefully, I've got the. I can. Yeah. So I'm just. How much was it? Sorry, 30 timber. The good thing about these quests as well is that you get experience towards your character level, but you're also getting crafting experience as well. So we'll go and turn that one in. It really is like a really efficient kind of leveling loop. And as I said, like when you're out, just make sure you harvest the basics. So hemp gives you fibres, which you need for some of these quests. Get some green wood, because you can just do green wood turn-ins or timber turn-ins. Iron, and what would be so I can just complete that one, and I'm level 24. There's not much else here that I can probably do at the moment. I like this one, energising rations. I don't want to just randomly pick it up, so let's just go and see if I can make it. What was it again? Yeah, energising travel ration. I might be able to make those. We will check. You also get like territory standing experience as well. So yeah, by doing these quests, you're leveling up a number of different things. Energising travel ration. I think we needed 15, did we not? I think we did, yeah. Was it 15? Was it only 15? And this is basically just stuff that I've picked up and stored in my bank. Okay, so let's now go and see. Got a cooking level. Let's now go and see if we can turn this in. So yeah, the town project board, excellent way of leveling. Whenever I go out and I do a loop of my quests and stuff, I'm always looking out for, as I said, I'll write this down if you want. Iron, raw hide from animals when you skin them. Pick up, like harvest any herbs and spices or fruits or Meat as well you'll get from the carcasses of animals and that kind of thing. Hemp for fibres, they're all important. So yeah, so we can immediately turn that in. So we've got a bunch of XP this morning. And when I come back, like in sort of just under 18 minutes, these will all refresh. As I said, I don't take the hunt ones or the explore ones. I don't think I can make these two at the moment. I can make that, but I haven't got the spices for it. So that's it. So yeah, as you're going around, make sure you. Hopefully, what will happen is we'll get one of the iron weapon consignments or armor consignments. But for those, you need rawhide. Or the thing to remember when you're collecting this stuff, and I'll just show you, is that generally for the quests, you don't use ingots, so you need ore, rawhide, and fibre. Now these resources you turn into, like fibre, you turn into linen, rawhide, you turn into leather. But for the quests, you want them in their raw form. So when you go and harvest them, just keep them in their raw form. I've just got a ring that I haven't equipped yet. Oh, I can't equip it yet, so I'm not high enough level. Yeah, so keep it in the raw form, basically, is the thing to do. So that's a great way of levelling up. The next thing to do, I only normally do this kind of... Well, no, that's not true. The other thing to do is to go over to your faction chat. I'm Syndicate. If you look up, if you go to the faction board, if you look up in the... At the top here, daily bonus is available. So the first 3 missions you do of every day, you get a bonus. You get a bonus kind of experience reward and token reward and stuff, I think. So always do these at the start of every day, 3 of them. I've been looking at some of the faction rewards actually, and I think that when I start playing a game live, I'll probably try and keep my equipment up to date by increasing my faction. I've even done some PvP ones. PvP ones, you get less character XP, but you get more reputation and tokens, basically. So, yeah. So, I'm going to pick these up. I haven't done them this morning. And we'll go out and do those as well. So, do those, even if you only do the first 3. Even if you only do 3 when you first log in during the day. It means that you'll get some bonus experience. And then that's it, really. I mean, and then what I would normally be doing is I will go around and do any quests that I've got. I'll go around in a loop and do those quests when I've cleared them all off. So we're up here. Yeah, I've got to do the quest to unlock my next faction rank, which I might go and do actually. But yeah, so I'll look at my map. I'll plan my route. I'll go around, and yeah, and then come back to town. When I get back to town, I'll check the town project board again to see if there's anything there that I can turn in. And that's, for me, has been a fairly efficient... I'm only low level. I say fairly efficient. I've only really started doing it recently, last few levels, and I'm finding it very good. So that's how I'm leveling. But make sure that you pick up those resources, because they will be very important for the town project boards. It's only basic resources like iron ore, as I said, rawhides, fibres, that kind of thing. But make sure you got them available so you can quickly turn that stuff in when it comes up on the board. Yeah, but we'll move on to the next part of the video. Now, friends, welcome back to the video. So I'm just going to quickly talk a little bit about whether I think that you might like this game or not. So if you looked at the combat and you like the combat, or you're a PvPer, then you're looking at the game thinking, will I like it or not? You know, I can't really tell you one way they're ever going to like it or not, because the combat for me is at the moment is kind of like incidental. The combat is something that I do in between the stuff that I really enjoy. So a lot of people have criticised the game as being a running fetch quest simulator, and I can't. That's not entirely true. There are quests in the game that require some different things. There are some story-led quests, some story-driven quests. You know, pretty much all of the side quests and the main quests are kind of like voice acted. So there is some story and some lore to follow through when you're playing the game. And there's lots of lore notes out in the world that you can read as well, which I personally find really interesting. But for a lot of the time, you will be running around to different locations, killing mobs and collecting things. but that's also for me is kind of like a bit secondary to what I'm enjoying about the game. And I guess that maybe that is what it will come down to, whether you will enjoy playing New World or not, because the running around the world, looking at scenes like this, are kind of what I'm really enjoying. Like I don't know if you just heard that little sound there coming from the monument. Um, Believe it or not, people watch my videos and may think that I'm not, but believe it or not, I am a min-maxer in games. If I play a single player game, I play it on the hardest level. If I play an MMO, I try to look at what's most efficient for me personally and go for that. But sometimes a game comes along where it's just so immersive that that kind of stuff becomes secondary. So I still care about my character. I still care about the flow of combat and how I'm doing that, and I'll go into that a little bit later on in the video. But I think that if you're the sort of person who doesn't enjoy just running around exploring a world, I'm not sure if the bits in between that will be enough to make you want to play the game. Just being honest, because a lot of the game, as I said, although there are story-driven quests and I've enjoyed doing them, a lot of the game is made up of running between different locations and kind of doing the same thing. Quite often, when you're questing in a region, NPCs will send you back to a location you've already been to. So it's not unusual to visit a location like 2 or 3 different times to do a similar sort of quest. So that may, if that's not your bag, and the exploring the world in between that is not a good enough reason for you to play the game, then maybe the game's not for you. But for me, like the gameplay loop of leaving town with my quests, running around exploring the world, gathering, listening to the sounds, like the immersiveness of the game is amazing. And that is kind of what's keeping me going, what's keeping me playing. I want to see the next region. I want to be able to mine star metal. I want to pick up the next resource. So that drives me to keep leveling those resource gathering skills to be able to pick up the next highest level resource. But you've also got the visuals in between that, which are beautiful. The volumetrics, the design of the trees, the way the mist will roll in. All of that. The sound design is amazing. Listening to someone fighting with a musket, like in the distance, is a real experience. You get that kind of like that snap of the musket, but you also get like an echoey effect. You get the same sort of effect when you hear someone mining as well, and all of that stuff really makes this, I think, there's that sound again, I love that sound, makes this the most immersive MMO I think I've ever played. I'm trying to think of one that's more immersive, and I can't think of one. And that's what's keeping me playing. I mean, I'm enjoying the combat, and I won't talk much about that because I'm not an expert in the combat. I've literally tried every weapon, so my highest weapon skill is probably like 9. But yeah, I'm enjoying the combat, and I don't mind visiting these locations more than once because they just look amazing, But I think that may determine if you're going to like the game or not. It can be a running fetch stroke kill quest simulator. But there's so much else to it, I mean, we haven't really, I don't want to, I'm trying to get the UI back. That was a stupid thing. What's that? There's my UI. There's loads of other stuff. So you got, like, if you're into PvP, you got territory warfare, you got PvP, which, I mean, I've seen people have said, oh, they should have been open PvP, but I've seen a lot of people running around doing open PvP, like flagged as PvP all the time. So there's a lot of that around. There's a lot of PvP around. You got like Fort. As I said, you got Fort. Your I think this is this is governed by the Black Army of Hungary, who've had this section. Yeah, they seem to be a pretty big company because they govern quite a few towns. Settlements around the world. Yeah, but you can compete with the other 2 factions for control of the territory, so you can take over the town and decide what you upgrade in the town. You set taxes, all that kind of stuff. So you've got all that stuff going on. You got PvP, open PvP. You know, if you were into PvP and you're annoyed that Amazon changed the game to PvP being a choice, I won't worry about that, because I've seen lots of players running around flagged as PvP all the time. So if there's PvP, if you want PvP, you'll get that. Yeah, and there's all sorts of other stuff going on in the game that haven't really been involved in too much, although I will be. If you look at this stuff here, you got this corruption. The main story is about corruption and defeating the corruption. So you get these corruption points flag up, where you have to fight like boss mobs, and you have to close these, and you get special rewards and whatnot for closing them. Best to do with other players, because they're quite difficult. Yeah, the world is huge to explore. I mean, I've basically all of my playtime has basically taken part in so far Monarch's Bluff and Everfall. I mean, I've got all these other areas to quest and explore in. There's also some other parts of the map here that you can see, running all the way around the north and round to the northwest. So it looks like there's other sections going to be added to the game as well. So I'm kind of showing you the basics, but there's a lot of other stuff going on in the game as well. You've also got a really deep gathering and crafting system, which I've enjoyed. I mean, as someone who doesn't generally get involved in gathering or crafting skills in MMOs, or if I do, it's very light. Like, that's one of the things I'm enjoying about the game. Like I think it's because it seamlessly works into your gameplay loop. So, like my loop this morning, I had a quest up here. So my loop basically goes around literally in a circle and comes back to town when I've done all my quests. And it quite often works that way. And as I'm going around, I'm just enjoying just gathering up stuff to put in my storage, to then do a bit of crafting, complete those town quests with. I'm not doing too much crafting at the moment. When the game goes live, I'm going to do some crafting. I think what's different in this MMO, as opposed to other MMOs, is that some MMOs make crafting and gathering like a job, whereas in this game it feels like just like a natural part of my gameplay experience, gameplay loop. Some of you may disagree with me. If you like Worm Online or Shrouded Avatar, whatever it may be, if you like that sort of crafting system, that's fine. I hated it, and I think the reason that I'm enjoying it here is because I don't feel like the crafting gathering system is just trying to punish me and make me feel depressed. You know, it's just a natural part of my gameplay loop, as I said. So yeah, but to sum up this part of the video, I do feel that if you're not someone who is going to get immersed in the world, you might get bored of just running around doing the quests. Like, obviously, if you're into PvP in a big way, you want to join a company and do faction wars, and you want to do wars for taking over settlements and stuff, that's great. What I would say, and this is something that because of when I play, I find quite often in MMOs, is that it does feel that a lot of this PvP faction stuff, etc., will take place like at peak times. So kind of be aware of that, because obviously the factions want as many people to be on as possible for a faction war. So yeah, if you play off peak and you want to get involved in those, I'm not quite sure what the reality is of that, but yeah, maybe check the forums and stuff, you get more information. But anyway, let's end this part of the video. Just wanted to start the video again and just show you this scene, the God Rays. It's kind of a little bit of what I was talking about in the previous part of the video. Like, if you're the sort of player who can stop and kind of appreciate this, then maybe it's the game for you. Because this is kind of what I find myself doing quite often. I'm just going to show you a bit of combat. I've reached Canis, which is a huge monolith, and I need to kill some mobs here. I thought I'd just show you a bit of the combat. I'll show you spear combat, because that kind of seems to make a bit more... Oh, there's already someone here. A bit more sense. So what I'm finding with the combat, we'll wait for some mobs to spawn, is that I think I was doing combat wrong initially. And most weapons seem to have a way of doing this. So what I was doing, I was hitting a mob, dodging out of the way, using an ability, blah, blah, blah. But I've been mucking around with looking at animations and stuff, and how you can cancel the animations. And I think that I've developed a flow for the game, which I'm enjoying more. So, like, my current attack pattern is to do a light attack, and then go immediately into a special, basically. So I'm getting some initial damage in. So I'll do light attack, sweep, follow up the sweep. I've got a passive on the sweep, which gives me a follow up attack if I do a light attack. So what I was doing before is I was kind of like jabbing, then I would dodge, then I would use an ability, and then it's funny because, like, a bit like Dark Souls, the game almost feels set up for dodging, but I'm actually not quite sure that you need to dodge. If the mob goes into a grit attack, it kind of breaks up the flow, but, like, yeah, so I'll go, like, light attack. Yeah, so this mob was a bit lower than me, but I'm finding that mobs around my level I can do a similar sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on, you know, like a Street Fighter type games or PvP or animation cancelling or Dark Souls or whatever, but I have found that, yeah, you can, because when you go into a light attack, you can do two. So I'm kind of clicking the, and it's weird because this kind of like flow to combat kind of works, even with a heavy weapon. So I've been using axe. I've tried to use it. I won't do as much damage here, but I've been kind of using axe as an example. We'll wait for a mob to spawn. An axe is the same, really. Like on axe, you've got like a charging move, which is this, but you can use it. That corrupted mob has followed me all the way from the corrupted area. We'll just finish it off. But with heavy weapons particularly, like you get stuck in the you can get stuck in the light animation swing. So yeah, so I'm not doing as much damage, but it's workable. Let's switch over to the hammer. You can do the same thing as well. So you can kind of, I mean, with these weapons it is slower. My ability's on cooldown. Oh, I didn't realise that. Makes sense, I guess. Yeah, so this is how I must confess, I can't credit them, I can't remember who it was, but I watched a video. It might have been someone called Studdy or something, or Studi or whatever. Can I swap the, can I put the hammer in? And you can kind of get this flow with the heavy weapons as well. Like as I said, I kind of felt like I was maybe doing the combat wrong. Like I was running in and trying to just go toe to toe and swing and whatnot. But what I find is that I'll start my light attack animations, but I'll kind of use like an ability, like I'll get an attack in, but then I'll use one of my CC abilities on the hammer, for example, just to keep the mob stunned. And you can do this with quite a number of weapons. I think we've kind of, yeah, we've done that quest. Yeah. I think that mob followed us all the way over there. Aggroed and kept coming. Where's my next loop? So I've got to go over to the Shattered Obelisk, which I will show you when I get there, because that's a beautiful section as well. So yeah, so there is a way with animal cancelling that I've found, to animation cancelling or whatever you want to call it, cancelling animation frames when you're in the middle of something, to make the combat flow a bit more. The other thing I found as well with a couple of weapons, you can do it with the axe and the rapier as well, I think, is that sometimes I equip the axe to move around quicker. So I'll do like what you can do is if you do a double roll, as you come out of the roll, there's kind of like a little pause. I don't know if you kind of noticed that, but double roll moves you forward a bit quicker anyway. With the axe, for example, and the charge ability, you can do like a double roll, and as the roll is about to as a second roll is about to stop, yeah, then you can basically zoom forward a bit, and I can cover a fair amount of meterage quicker by doing that. Can you hear that snap? With the like that echo in the distance of your mining. That's lovely, that is. I really like that. And as I said, this is what I love about the game. Going from place to place. Always mine when you see iron or silver, because you can use that for your town project quests. But yeah, this is, as I said, this gameplay loop is what I'm really enjoying. I did it for 50-60 hours in the preview event, didn't get bored of it there, and I'm not bored of it here. But if running around the world just experiencing it and stuff is not for you, then this is a fair part of the game. I think it's only fair to tell you that before you spend your bucks. But there's also a lot more nuance in the combat and stuff than I realised. At first I thought I'd have really mucked the combat up, you know, and it's not like... Oh, whatever. I can... no. No, go on, I want the... Oh, level 40, I can't do that yet. I've been a bit behind on the skinning, which is a bit bad. Yeah, I mean, I thought the combat and the movement had kind of been nerfed quite a bit. But, you know, I mean, the thing is, like, more resourceful players than me find ways around that kind of thing. Ah, oh, Silkweed, look at that, that's beautiful, but 100. Yeah, and one of those, just to increase your movement a little bit, is to, just for looking for tricks for your weapons that just propel you forward a few more meters. The rapier's got a movement skill as well, I think, which kind of works in the same way. But I've found, just by looking at like the flow of combat, cancelling out of... I needed to wait, didn't I? Yeah, cancelling out of your light attack animations has kind of made combat flow a bit more. Yeah, for me personally. Maybe you'll think, yeah, whatever, Bob. And I'm not an expert, as I said, but it's just looking for ways to make things slow a bit more. I can hear this growling. It sounds like it might be an alligator, because sometimes you get alligators swimming through the lake. There's a little gatherable there that I can't pick up at the moment. Let's go into, and here we go. Look at this. Another quite what was the? Oh, that was it. Another quite amazing scene. Beautiful use of colour as well. Like sunrises and sunsets look amazing. Yeah, pretty. And you can actually go up to that. I think that's where the first expedition is, which I... Oh, hang on. Oh, platinum. Damn, I thought it might have been silver. It was platinum. So that's Bob's very newbie guide to the combat. Just study your weapon a bit. There are ways to... I don't want to fight those guys. There are ways to make the combat flow a bit more. It certainly flows a bit more than Dark Souls, for example. It feels a bit smoother than that. So if you was worried about that, as I said, maybe me showing you the combat there as yeah, informed you a bit more. You still only got the 3 abilities for each weapon. I know that was something that people also spoke about as well. I'm not quite sure what adding a 4th ability in will do. Maybe it will just make... I mean, I can kind of kill, like, on-level mobs. I'll just show you some musket combat. I don't have traps at the moment. But I've got some ability. I've got some cooldown. I've got some passives, which means that if I get a headshot, you know... Can you hear that? I wasn't too loud for you, but can you hear that snap of the musket shot? That's really, really good. What do I need? I need to search... Ah, so I actually need to search chests. Okay. So this mobs is on level, basically, for me. Yeah, and I can kind of... Depends on the weapon, but I can kind of pretty much kill the mob without it doing anything to me. And just getting a nice little rotation going as well that works for you. When you get 2 mobs, it's a bit different. But I do have some crowd control for that, so... I often don't use skewer, but there you go. And I'm finding the combat, I don't know if you like it or not, but I'm finding the combat flows pretty nicely. I'm not sure if it's the most efficient way, but what I normally, unless I really need to, what I normally do is I'll kill a mob with one weapon and switch over to the other one. So I'm kind of leveling them at the same time. What have we got here? Just the one mob. There we go. And I found that all the weapons kind of have that flow. Like even the heavier weapons, I've found you can come up with a rotation that feels fairly fairly smooth. I've tried Sword and Shield out a bit, which I quite like, but I'm kind of mostly decks. I'm almost 100 decks at the moment, and I'm putting some points into con for some hit points as well. So yeah, but anyway, that's been a little bit about the gameplay loops and the combat. Didn't quite do it as I normally do it there, but there you go. Yeah, and here we are at this another fantastic location. I'll end this part of the video here, and we'll come back, and I'll kind of sum up at the end what I think. Hello friends, welcome back to the video. So I thought I would just quickly start recording here again, because another part of the game that's been added since I was playing in the preview event last year, and that's expeditions, or kind of like one group sort of dungeon raiding type things, I guess you would call them. This is the first one, the Amrin, however you want to pronounce it, expedition. I think you need a group to get in, and I think you need a particular item to get in as well that you maybe quest for. I'm not sure. There's a dog here called Barkamedes, which is amazing. That's the best name I've seen in the game for a long time. It's like some bones. Barkamedes puppy. Oh, so you get like a little puppy as a request, as a reward. What do I need to do to get that? Oh, it's okay. So I need to go into the dungeon basically to get that. I've never done that before. One tank, one healer, one DPS. I'm kind of DPS, so let's see if I can get into this group. See what happens. Hello, welcome back to the video. So I thought I would just I'm just kind of randomly pointing out things to you as I come across them when I'm running around. This is a fort. It's currently controlled by the Marauders, which is one of the free factions in the game which you can join. If you noticed here, like territory bonuses, so influence plus experience plus gathering quantity. So I think the way it works is if you're in the Marauders faction, and that's something that you can choose to join at level sort of 10ish, I think it is. There's 3 factions. I'm in a syndicate. Then I'm assuming that as a Marauder dude or dudess, you're entitled to those bonuses. I think that's kind of how it works. There's a war coming up, so a faction is about to was war in progress. So the control point is locked to one after war resolves. Yeah, so there's a war going on for this particular area. A fortress that controls them, wars and corrupted invasions held in this. Yeah, so there's going to be there's a war going on here. I'm not sure if it's currently ongoing at some point, but I think you're taken to like a 50 versus 50 instance or something where you fight for control of the territory, basically. So yeah, that's another part of the game if you're into that, 50v50 PvP. I couldn't get into a group for the expedition. I'm going to get a few more levels first. A little tip is that what I found is that DPS are just not needed for the expeditions because most people seem to be DPS. So if you want to do expeditions and stuff, it might be an idea to have like a little tank or healer under your belt. The thing is, with one character, you can kind of level everything. Your attributes make up a fair part of your damage, and focus makes up a fair part of healing with the life staff. But yeah, you can. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do it when the game starts. I'm assuming you will be able to, although I don't know. But you can respec up until level 20. It's free, but then the cost of respecing goes up. So you could level up, even if it's not going to be your primary. You could level up like sword and shield and life staff, you know, so you can kind of cover those two areas and then just respec your attributes to fill in with a slot. I'm not sure why I just didn't think of that before, really. It seems like it might just be a sensible thing to do. So, here's part of the loop. Here's some hemp. That's for fibres for our town board quests later on. Yeah, so you know, it's weird, like leveling up weapons is quite slow. It's a lot. There's only 20 levels, but it gets to a point where it's quite a bit slower than leveling up your character level. But getting from like weapon level 1 to 10 is not a chore. So I'm wondering if when the game goes live, I might concentrate on like a healer or a tank, just to do those. Turkey. Kill your turkeys. Again, killing turkeys means you'll get feathers, and feathers again is one of the quests for turning in at the town board. Yeah, I'm wondering if it might be worth, just because you can level whatever you want eventually, and although it does require like respecking your attributes, I kind of wonder if it might be worth leveling up. Because I don't mind, I mean, I've done a little bit of healing, I don't mind it. I've done a little bit of tanking, I don't mind it. So I'm wondering if it's worth just leveling up life staff with something initially, so that, just so you got more chance of getting a group, as opposed to, yeah, just being DPS, which a lot of people seem to be. Because I think a lot of people seem to be DPS because also it's good for PvP as well, you know. So like muskets, rapiers, I think great axe as well is quite popular for PvP at the moment. And maybe people just don't want to level up other weapons just to fill in a role. I'm not sure. Maybe that might be a thing to do. Another thing I'll show you quickly. I think that dude will die. If you just notice where my character is, like the waist, you can see the cooldowns. That's the cooldowns of my abilities, basically. So particularly if you're a healer or a tank, rather than having to keep looking down to the right hand side, I'll just show you how to turn that on. I think it's gameplay. Yeah, huddle away, extra ability cooldowns. Yeah, so turn that on. That adds that extra little HUD there that shows you your. What do I need to do here? Just need to search chests for a quest. I'll do that, and then I'll kind of sum up at the end of the video. I'll kind of show you why we put our camp down previously. It won't be any great surprise. If you're a newbie, it might help you out. What we got here? Oh jeez. Oh dear. Now, how did that miss? You get a reticle come up red when you're actually aiming at the mob, but I found it's not amazingly accurate. There were some misses there. Maybe it was just me. Oh, I've got a tier 3 spear. I have to check that out. Maybe it was just me, but yeah, it looked like there were some hits there. Okay, so that's how. Let's just kill this dude. Right, so that's our gameplay loop done. I'm not sure if these little tips are helping you at all, but another little tip is that the reason we put our camp down earlier is because we can now just, if we go to game menu and do respawn, you'll die and you can respawn at your camp, basically. I could have respawned at the settlement anyway. This kind of works generally if you're moving quite a way away from your settlement into a different area. But we'll do that anyway. You do take some, like your weapons and armour degrade over time. You need to repair them. So you do take some weapon damage when you respawn, but it's just another fast travel option basically to to sort you out. So I've got 2 expedition quests which I can't do at the moment because no one was looking at DPS. The game kind of needs a group finder, which it currently doesn't have. Just like an expedition finder where you can just, I know some people don't like those kind of things, but just as a quality of life thing, just click on something. Just go looking for group finder. You click on it, and then you go in a queue or something or whatever. I don't mind standing outside a dungeon asking for groups, but yeah, some people might quite like that. So we'll go to our faction leader first of all, our faction member.
I greet you in reverence.
We turn these in, so we get. Also, I got a huge XP bonus there. Oh, so 1 has already regenerated. So, okay, so it says daily bonuses. I'm pretty sure I just turned in 3 quests. I have 3 available, but I've got 1 available again now. Okay, well, I won't worry about that. Yeah, so we'll come back to our town. We'll just go and have a look up at the board, see if there's any other quests we can do. And I'll just sum up a bit. Yeah, so I think to sum up for me, like exploring the world, the immersiveness of the world, and the gameplay loops are what I'm hugely addicted to, like stupidly addicted to at the moment. The combat, although I quite like it, and the questing, particularly the go here, do this questing multiple times. It's kind of something that just happens in between the immersive exploration for me. I'm enjoying the gathering, which is something that I never enjoyed in games before. I haven't tried the what would you call it? The crafting too much, but this is basically how I've been playing the game. Now I'm back here, what I'll do is I'll look at some of these things to see if I can turn them in. I've gained about a level this morning in a fairly short space of time just doing this kind of stuff. So, it's this is what I'm finding to be the most efficient gameplay loop. Something that I haven't shown you, is it easy for me to show you? I haven't shown you fishing. There's fishing as well, and I really like fishing. I'll show you that in another video. There's all types of bait that you get for your fishing, saltwater fishing, freshwater fishing, different baits give you different things, different levels of fishing rods. Quite a lot of the town project quests involve fish or fish oils. Yeah, but that's it really. I think I've probably kept you long enough, bored the pants off you, but I hope this was reasonably coherent. Just to recap, I'm loving the game, but not necessarily for the combat or for the majority of the questing, just the fact for being in the world. The only thing I would say is that some people said they didn't like the fact that there didn't seem to be a huge amount of different options for armour and that kind of thing. And I think this is a game that's kind of based in reality. Like, I've seen some references to real world people from history. So this is a game that's kind of based in like a reality, but you've just been shipwrecked on some magical island somewhere. And I quite like the armour choices and stuff. It's kind of, as I said, it's based in reality for the period, so I guess it's kind of like 17th century-ish kind of thing. And I quite like it. I quite like the sailor, pirate, like soldier kind of era armour. Maybe that's something that you don't like. Maybe you like big shoulder pads and glowing purple, chest plates, whatever. I don't know, but I like that. It's pretty decent. So yeah, I've enjoyed the game. Really enjoying the game. Can't wait for release. I can start some proper progress. I just noticed my hat seems to have barnacles on it. I believe, which is a nice touch. The game has so many nice touches. Arguably, like, I can see why people are not happy with combat changes. I can see why people kind of find the questing a bit boring. That kind of needs to be worked on a bit, and I'm assuming it will be worked on. It's an MMO, but the game has so many really, really nice touches, nice quality of life implementations. someone's really thought about the sound and the visuals and the art style. I like it all. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, so this is a little bit on the end. This is two newbie tips I was going to mention that has meant I've got to re-encode my whole video again. Great. So the first one is, if you start off as an archer or a musketeer early on, you either have to buy your own ammunition or make it. I got to a point where I could make it, but what I did until then is, if you go into the faction board, if you just do these kind of factions to get your bonuses at the start of the day, you'll get enough points to faction points to basically buy iron ammunition at the start. So that's what I did. So if you're a musket user or an arrow user and you want some ammunition at the start, just use your points. I mean, it's cheap, right? Just use your points to, as long as you're doing some faction missions, just use your points to buy your ammunition. The other thing as well is, going back to the town project board, is that what you will find is, if you've got some excess gold, I wasn't planning on buying a house in the beta, so I had a load of excess gold over. For those project board quests, you can buy the resources you need on the marketplace to do those quests. So you're kind of spending your gold to get experience, essentially. Some people do take the mick with some of them. Fish oil particularly. Fish oil is quite difficult to get, you know, but people are charging a lot on the auction house, on the marketplace for it. But yeah, if you come across something that gives good XP, have a quick look on the marketplace first of all, because you might find you can buy the stuff on there for cheap and just get yourself a couple of thousand XP. That's it. I'm going to go and encode the video again.